Pandora's Hope. My name is Emily. I was in a real bind right now. I'm just going to rest for a bit. Saying this, the man took my hand and tried to enter the hotel. The man's name was Yabe. He was the successor to a client of my father's company. We had come back from a meal after being told that we couldn't meet for a while, as if it were an arranged marriage. My father and I had only thought of it as a casual meeting. And we never expected things to turn out like this. Please stop. That's not what I meant. It's fine. We're getting married anyway. I hadn't meant it at all. I had planned to politely decline once we met so as not to be rude to my father's client. I was at a loss, unable to call the police, when a stranger called out to me, "Are you okay?" He looked much older than me. Yabe told me not to bother him, but he seemed to notice that I was attracting the attention of the passers-by around us. He must have felt awkward at that moment, because he suddenly turned down the offer and left. I had no idea at the time that this would be my fateful encounter. When he found out that my house was one station away, the man offered to give me a ride. His name was Haru and he introduced himself as being 35 years old. It may be because of his gentle personality that I was able to talk to him without feeling nervous despite the age difference of more than 10 years. I called out to him as we passed the taxi stand and the station. "Are you walking?" Haru was surprised and stopped, apologizing. "I usually walk if it's just one station. If you don't want to, we can go back. It's okay. Don't worry about it." I couldn't help but laugh at how embarrassed he was. He was a bit of an oddball, but I thought he must be a good person, especially since he helped me. "Look, the moon is beautiful." When he said that, I looked up at the sky and was taken aback by its beauty. It's always there, but we don't usually notice it. I realized that he was the kind of person who could notice such beauty. I became interested in him, so I thanked him for today and made plans to meet again the next day. After meeting him several times, Haru confessed his feelings to me and we started dating. Today was a date at his house. When I first visited his room, I got the impression that it was plain and simple. While we were watching a movie, it had become completely dark outside the window. Time flies when we're having fun. I wonder what to make for dinner. If you like, I can make something. If that's the case, let me make it. I don't mean to brag, but I'm confident in my cooking. Besides, it's been a small dream of mine to cook for the person I like. When I opened the fridge to decide what to make from the ingredients, I was surprised. Most of the ingredients had discount stickers on them. Seeing my surprise, Hassan looked embarrassed. "It's kind of embarrassing, isn't it?" "Yeah, it's not like that at all. I like saving money too. Walking just one station to this shabby room is probably part of saving money. I know there are girls who don't like that kind of thing. But to me, it seemed much better than wasting money, and it made me like him even more." We had been dating for about 3 months when we started talking about marriage. I should have been happy, but I couldn't be happy about it honestly. The problem was his income. He works at a factory and his monthly take-home pay, including overtime, is around 150,000 yen. To be honest, I was surprised to hear that he makes money, even though he's more than 10 years older than me. I'm in my second year of working life, and I still make more than he does. Maybe he likes to save money because he simply doesn't have the money. That thought crossed my mind. Of course, I have no intention of being supported by him, and I plan to continue working even after we get married, but that won't change once we have children. And at 35, I can't expect my income to increase much in the future. Even when I honestly told Haru about my concerns, she just smiled and said that everything would be fine. Even when I suggested that she change jobs, she said that she likes her current job and has no intention of doing so. Even though I love him, his gentle way of speaking made me irritated at that moment. I know that even though I like him, it's not easy to make a living just from that. Is staying with him the right choice? I was starting to lose sight of the answer. It was during this time of anxiety that my father called me back to my parents' house. After making small talk as usual, a long silence suddenly followed. My usually cheerful father looked so uneasy today that my heart ached. Unable to bear his distress, I spoke in a deliberately cheerful tone. What's wrong? Why are you looking so serious? Are you saying that the company is going bankrupt? It is. What? Are you kidding me? I was just joking, but I was speechless at his unexpected response. According to my father, a major long-standing business partner had fallen behind on payments and had eventually run away in the middle of the night. Given the size of my father's company, that alone would catastrophically disrupt its finances. Apparently, if they didn't come up with 20 million yen immediately, they might go bankrupt. I'll make sure not to cause you any trouble, so don't worry. The company had been passed down from my grandfather to my father, and it was his life. And yet, my father seemed prepared for the worst. I felt so hopeless, and watching my father's determined face made my heart burst. I wanted to help my father, but I couldn't do anything, and time just passed by. It was the moment when Mamaha, who was in a state of mental anguish, talked about marriage in my room. There's no way I could get married. I knew it wasn't the right way to say it, but I couldn't stop myself. I decided to tell Haya-san, who was surprised, about my father's company. My father is about to lose something important because he doesn't have money. If he had money, neither my father nor I would have had to go through this. This is what it's like to have no money. Haru-san tells me that it'll be fine if we get married. But in reality, we can lose something important because we don't have money. I've been patient, but I've reached my limit. I can't be with Haru-san. I'm sorry I didn't realize it. With those words, he quietly left the room. This was just a coincidence. Thinking about it made my chest tighten with guilt. But it was too late to pursue him now, and I sank into a deep hole of self-loathing. The next night at 10 p.m., I was sitting across from Haya-san in the hotel lounge. The key to the hotel room that Haya-san had taken was on the table. Are you really okay with this? Now my father's company is fine, right? That's why he contacted me last night and said he wanted to see me again. I decided to ask for financial support from my father's company, desperately clinging to the idea of marriage, and I accepted. Hassan had already left me because of me. Now that I had lost the person I loved, I didn't care about myself if it meant saving my father's company. Of course. I promise. Shall we go then? Yabe stood up from his seat and pushed me to stand too. Once I got on the elevator, there was no going back. But there was nowhere for me to go back. The only thing I regret is hurting someone important to me, so maybe this is a mistake. Just as I was walking towards the elevator, resolving myself, it happened. I wouldn't let Emily be taken away. When I turned to face the voice, Haru was standing there. I wanted to throw myself into Hassan's arms right away, but I quickly closed my eyes. I don't deserve that since I hurt him. Don't get in my way. I'm going to marry this man. That's enough. I'll make Emily happy. Saying that, Hassan opened an account in his own name and handed it to me. I gasped as I took it. It showed a balance of over 2 billion yen. Apparently, when Haru was in his 20s, He worked for a shady company and was working hard to build up his assets. Investing in reactionary companies was part of that, and apparently some of the stocks have grown more than 200 times in the last 10 years. So he quit his job and is now living a life of luxury. He says he still works at a low-paying job because he likes to scrounge. But since it's about money, he has to be careful and seems to be worried about the right time to tell me. Just then, what happened yesterday happened, and when he went to get the bank book from the bank, I had disappeared when he got home. He hurriedly asked a detective to investigate and found where I was. It seems I had jumped to the conclusion that he had left. I regretted not trusting Haru and not waiting. Haru promised to support my father's company as well. What a waste of time to interrupt. That's enough, I'm going home. Iterachimo, who had been watching us, was about to leave. But at that moment, Haru's voice called out to him. President Yamada told me everything. What's with that name? I heard later that Yamada was the name of the president of the company that my father did business with when he ran away in the middle of the night. Yabe was surprised because he was the mastermind behind it all. He would make my father's company suffer and then promise to support me when I was in trouble and get my hands on me. That was Yabe's goal. During that one day, the detective that Mr. Yamada had hired had uncovered the truth of everything. It cost a fair amount of money though. Later, Mr. Yamada said this to me and gently sighed. I don't know anything. I don't know. Despite his words, the cold sweat on his forehead and the sullen appearance of his face told the truth. I will never forgive you. I will corner you thoroughly. Haru glared at him with a fierce demeanor that I had never seen before, and he screamed and ran away. The next day, as he had promised, Mr. Yamada began his pursuit of Yabe and the company. First, he provided information to the police and asked them to handle it as a criminal case, and at the same time, he filed a civil lawsuit, thoroughly cornering Yabe. Oh no, the father and son had to sell the company and lost everything except for Kyogaku's debt. On the other hand, my father's company recovered and continues to grow steadily. 6 months later, we were standing in front of a dazzlingly luxurious mansion, just before our wedding. Did we really buy this house? After all, who knows how many children we'll have? But this house is too big. It's the first time I've seen a house with an elevator. And on top of that, we're going on a trip around the world for our honeymoon. I was worried because it was so big. Isn't it a bit too much? Are you sure? You have to use it when you need it. And there are other bank books too. I was surprised, and Haru laughed happily at my reaction.